Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor. Hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy. Saints get things cranked up on Sunday, and I think the vibes are going to be really good in the Dome pregame. I think that people will be excited to get in there. The new renovations are going to look cool. Saints haven't lost a game yet. Nobody's jumped off sides yet. Everything's fine when they start the game. I'm concerned about once the game gets going. We talked to Luke Johnson yesterday, talked to Sharif on Tuesday. Things are tenuous between the city and the team right now. And if they go out there and they handle their business and they score 31 points and they win the game 31-17, everybody's going to feel good about things. If things get wobbly in the first half, that dome is going to come unglued. Like we saw it bubble over in the Detroit game last year. And there's just a lot of that energy that's still in the city. And so it's so important for a number of reasons for the Saints to get off to a good start. Because the margin for error with the fan base is almost zero. So what does this game look like on Sunday for New Orleans? Well, you've got a couple of teams that are breaking in new offenses. Dave Canales did a brilliant job with Geno Smith in Seattle, did a brilliant job with Baker Mayfield in Tampa, and now he's got Bryce Young. And the first thing that Dave Canales and the Panthers did with Bryce Young this year was go get two guards. Now, they're both with Louisiana ties. You got Damian Lewis, who was on the 2019 team as the starting right guard, and you went and got Robert Hunt, who I like a lot because my first name is Robert and my middle name is Hunt, and his name is Robert Hunt. And because of that, the commissioner of the NFL went up and said with the such and such pick in the NFL draft, I don't remember who it was, the Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins select Robert Hunt. And that's the closest I'll ever get to being drafted. So there's a soft spot in my heart for Robert Hunt.
Still crazy to me that your parents named you after a famous singer.
Yeah, I'm the third straight Robert Palmer. Actually, and Myers is the fourth straight Robert Palmer, and none of them go by Robert. It's Bob, Rusty, Hunt, and Myers. And so none of them go by Robert. But there's four in a row that are named Robert Hunt. My dad's a junior. They cut that off with me, and then Myers just came from the other side of the family. But that's too much information for most of you. It is important, though, that the Panthers have fortified the interior of their offensive line for Bryce Young. And they're also going to implement a very, very quick passing game by all accounts. So the Saints are not going to have a ton of time to get back there to Bryce Young. You got to get hands up, and they've got to cover. I trust the Saints to cover. If there's anything I trust the Saints to do, it's cover. Okay? I don't know if they can pass block. I don't know if they can run the ball. I know they can cover. So that's going to be important for New Orleans in this game, but it should be a new look for the Panthers offense. It's also going to be a new look for the Saints on offense, and we simply haven't seen it. Ross Jackson, LouisianaSports.net, seen it. All the guys who went out to Irvine to training camp saw it. A lot of motion, a lot of movement, outside zone runs. It's going to look very different from last year. I think you're going to see more of Taysom Hill in some different gadget spots. But whose transformation actually takes hold? Obviously, the Saints' concern is the offensive front. That goes without saying. And it's not awesome that you're dealing with Derek Brown and Jadeveon Clowney on the other side. Clowney's kind of resurrected his career a little bit. Brown's been a great player for a very long time. Those two guys are going to have to be huge difference makers for Carolina. If those two guys are neutralized by the Saints' offensive front, the Saints are going to win this game. They're going to score points, and they're going to be fine. If those two guys wreck the Saints' offensive line, kind of like we saw Tennessee do last year in the opener, although Tennessee couldn't score, so the Saints won that game. But if it looks like that, trouble. Big, big trouble. Because Carr can't move, and you're not going to be able to run the ball, and you got issues. So there are going to be big transformations for these two offenses. Whichever one takes hold the best is going to come out on top in this game. I'll be watching Trevor Penning. We kind of put that storyline to bed for the last 3 weeks. It was on fire for the first 3 weeks of camp, and then we've kind of put it to bed. I told you that I don't think he can play the position. I don't think he can play in the NFL. I think playing right tackle is out over his skis. But he's going to be out there, and he's going to have to help. And if he has some big misses, that can be a huge, huge problem for this New Orleans Saints team. As far as problems that the Panthers could give the Saints, I don't see a ton. I like that matchup a lot with the Saints defense. I don't see a huge advantage for Carolina. The Saints defense is good on every level. I really trust the offensive front. defensive front. I really trust the linebackers, assuming that Warner's ready to go. And I think the corners and safeties are going to be really, really good. There's one safety position that's not awesome, but I think they're going to be just fine. I think this game is going to be low scoring in the end because I don't think that the Saints are going to be able to block well enough, and I don't think the Panthers have a matchup that works for them offensively. This game, to me, is played around 20, Beck.
Yeah, I agree with you. And then just a few things. The Saints injury report did just come out a few minutes ago. So P. Werner, full participant in practice this whole week, so he is good to go. Nick Saldiveri is questionable. He was limited all week. That would be really, really tough if they lose him. And then Kalen Saunders is going to be out. He did not
we
practice.
need that.
Yeah, so Brian Brzee steps in there, and hopefully he can take. He played well last year.
He's going to be good.
He should be good.
He's going to be just fine.
Yeah, and then A.T. Perry is questionable. He didn't practice the last few days, so that could be a problem there for the third receiver spot.
Cedric Wilson probably going to take those reins, and
likely,
he's a veteran, so I think they'll be fine there. I like in this game, I'll give you my prediction at the end of the show. I like the Panthers and the points in this game because if you play around 20, that shrinks that margin, and 4 points feels like a lot in this game. This feels like a field goal or a 1 point game to me because I just don't trust these offenses. The one thing that I think the Saints are going to try to do is get Kamara to the edge, whether that's that outside zone run game that we're talking about or whether it's just getting him the ball with receptions. I think Kamara is a big-time fantasy guy this year because I think they're going to get him the ball a lot in some space with the screen game and with those outside zone running stuff. And I also think that Taysom Hill is going to be a huge piece here. We yelled and screamed and hemmed and hawed all last year because Taysom Hill would take over games, and then the next week he would get 4 carries. You've got this weapon. Put him on the field. Let him go play. Use him in the red zone. Use him in gadget plays. Do some different things and make teams have to prepare for all the different things that he can present to a defense. My sincere hope is that Clint Kubiak is smart enough to do that. I think he will be. You just did not see enough of that with Pete Carmichael. So, again, it's so important for the Saints to get off to a good start. You know what the schedule looks like. It's got to be a win on Sunday in the Superdome. I think it'll be a good crowd until it's not, if they can't get rolling against the Carolina Panthers. Beck, I'll give my pick at the end of the show. Where are you leaning with this game?
I'm leaning towards the Saints. I think the Panthers I still am very unsure of Bryce Young. I mean, he was not very good last year. I'm not sure he's going to take too much of a step forward. Maybe he will. But the Panthers just they never have any continuity. The owner there, David Tepper, he just fires coaches every single year. They can't
quote George Costanza. He fires people like it's a bodily function.
Exactly, and so it's just so hard for a guy to mesh. He's going to have a new coach now, so it's going to be taking even longer for them to get settled in to run this offense. And then I think the Panthers defense is actually pretty good. They've got some good guys on the defensive line. I mean, Jadeveon Clowney, Shaq Thompson is a good linebacker, but I think the Saints can score. I think they can score 23 in this game, and I think that's enough. The Saints
23 will be enough to win.
It will be, and I think they can, and I think they can hold the Panthers to maybe 17. So I think it's 23-17.
As cranky as the fan base is, as cranky as I may be, as cranky as Moscona may be, as cranky as T-Bob may be, as cranky as things are, the Saints defense can be fine. They're going to be fine, and against this quarterback and this personnel on offense, they will be just fine. The Panthers will not score 30 points in this game. That is not an option in this game. If the Panthers are going to win it, they're going to dominate the Saints offensive line. They're going to do just enough on offense, get a turnover, and they're going to win it 24-20. That's the only path I see for the Panthers. The Saints, I think, have a chance to separate in this game, but I think it's going to be really tight at the end, and so I'll give you my pick coming up at the end of the show. But I do think that the Panthers are to play in Vegas with that 4-point number because I just think that's too big if this game plays out like it probably should. So we'll see. Panthers and Saints coming up at noon on Sunday. You can listen to that over on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. We do have the rights to the Saints games once again. Hey, it's on. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button. Leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.